Hey guys, so we are in Miami Beach right now. That's because yesterday we flew back from Colombia, and I'm gonna make a video all about all the cool things to do in Colombia, the typical touristy things, the walled city in Cartagena, the fort, San Felipe Castle. But when Maggie and I travel, we always try to do something that's off the beaten path. And it used to be, it was really easy to find these experiences with TripAdvisor, but now TripAdvisor is all monetized and corporate, and you really have to dig down to like the 7th or 8th page to find anything unique and special. But I did find something. I signed up, I said, do you have availability? He said, sure, you have to wire transfer me $50, and then he wanted our height and weight. And my only impression of Colombia is from TV shows like Narcos, so I was a little concerned when he asked for our height and weight, but it turned out to be a really awesome adventure. So here's how it went down. He picked us up at 5:30 at our hotel, drove us for about 45 minutes before he stopped at a nice little cafe, a restaurant, resort type thing. And by the way, on this whole experience, we did not see any other tourists. When I say tourists, I mean Americans, Westerners like us. So he gave us breakfast, he pulled out a map, he showed us exactly where we're gonna be driving to get to our trailhead and then where we're gonna be hiking. So we get to the trail and we start walking, and basically we are walking into the jungle.
Day one of our Colombian adventure. We left Cartagena this morning around 5:30 to take an adventure. Jimmy just like paid a guy to take us into the jungle. So that's what we're doing.
So we're hiking through the jungle. They gave us these sticks, and we're headed to see some sort of ruins from previous civilizations. So that'd be pretty cool. But it's hot in the jungle. There's a lot of really neat bird noises. We keep stopping the group because we like to look at the leafcutter ants because we think they're really cool. And I have a new haircut, as you can see. So hot in the jungle?
It's a little warm, yeah. It's nice though.
Bees, he warned us about the bees several times. He taught us a technique. If a bee just swarms around your head, you're supposed to just don't swat at it, don't freak out, don't make any noise, just slowly go to the ground. Which I think is a tactic you can use for pretty much any kind of harassment in foreign countries. If someone walks up and tries to sell you something, don't swat at them, don't scream, just slowly go to the ground and wait for them to go away. So I think that's a really good, appropriate tactic for any sort of trouble you have when you're traveling, but especially aggressive bees.
Can you hold my sticks for a second?
Beautiful flower.
Yeah, actually, if you can smell like in the flower. I could climb up this one. Oh! Hello.
Bien, ¿cómo va todo?
Bien, bien.
¿Cómo va ese ganado?
Bien, bien.
Bien, bueno, qué bueno.
You could really climb up that. At what point do you get nervous?
I don't get nervous until you get nervous.
No, it's recording.
Oh, cool. Well, I just climbed a vine. There's no evidence of it, but I did it purely with my upper body strength. Olinto, the tour guide, is basically a nature enthusiast, and he loves Colombia. He loves the jungle, the dry forest, the rainforest. He loves to travel, and he's super excited to take people like us and basically show us his backyard, his home country. So as we're walking, there's some obstacles, there's some mud here and there, there's some tight spots, not a lot of elevation change, but eventually we get to the point where we're entering the carvings, like the petroglyphs, hieroglyphs, on some stone from the indigenous people that lived before South America was explored, essentially. And you have to wade through the water. Once you get there, basically we had to be very quiet because there were some swarming bees, and he really did not want those to swarm over and attack us, even though we learned the technique of just be quiet and just go down.
Oh yeah.
Just there was a rock there.
Ballast.
There's some toucans in the trees, but I didn't see them. I was staring for like 5 minutes, and Maggie's just laughing because I can't see them.
They're up there.
They're up there.
There's something up in the air to see if it will come down the lake. Okay. So when you hear the cicadas, it means it's going to rain. So they're very loud right now.
So this sort of adventure that you book with a guy online, it's not going to be your typical tourist adventure. He did warn us up front that we're going to be crossing some streams, we're going to get dirty, we're going to get muddy. There are some slight risks involved, but this is really the kind of thing that we like to do when we travel. So when we finished up and we saw the ancient carvings in the stones of the suns and like the tiger's prints, we headed out of the jungle, and he quickly took us over to a really cool place. Again, no tourists, but a cool place to have lunch that had some really amazing food, some really amazing drinks, and we were having tons of fruit that I've never even heard of that you definitely can't buy at Publix.
Flower. Tiny turtle.
Pero de inmediato vamos a conversar con la directora de ITV que acaba de salir.
Flowers, my fruit.
And after lunch, they threw Maggie in a hammock and they gave her a bird, and she proceeded to talk to the bird for about 30 minutes until eventually we told her that we have other things we have to do. So we left lunch, went not far, right around the corner in this little town, and showed up at this family's house where they play a bunch of culturally original instruments, like some drums, some, yeah, they had these flutes. One was like a male gendered flute, the other was a female gendered, but that's not the point. The point is they played some really cool music for us, and to make it more interactive, they put Maggie on the drums and had her learn the beat, and they were gonna involve us in the performance. It's a lot harder than it looks, and I'm not musically inclined.
Okay.
after that, Olinto basically drove us back to Cartagena because this was like 2 hours outside of the city. And on the way back, we were talking about the fact that it's very tough for these unique experiences to get marketed against other experiences because companies like TripAdvisor are now really boosting up the experiences of companies that pay them or pay for the sponsored space or will allow them to take a cut, a 10% commission of their experience. And since he doesn't want to do that, he wants to keep it very authentic and intimate and make it special for people, but he's struggling to appear essentially on multiple websites, whether it's Groupon, TripAdvisor, or Google even. So I'm going to link this entire adventure in the description below, and you guys, if you're making your way to Cartagena and you want to do something that's very different, very adventurous, you know, you'll be hot, you'll be sweaty, you'll be muddy, you get bit by bugs, you'll get to wade through the rivers in the jungle. If all of that sounds great to you, then I would highly recommend that you book a trip with Olinto. And if you don't want to do that stuff, well then watch our other video where we'll show you the walled city in Cartagena and then the fort, the Castle San Felipe, and you can just chill out on the beach because there is a pretty decent beach there as well. So that's it. Okay, bye.